Many platform games have the ability for the player to grab onto the sides of walls so they can slow down their descent. We'll add this to the player script. So we want to go find the play correct animations function, which should be executing in the constantly loop. Here we go, play correct animations. And before we check if the player should be jumping or falling in here, we want to check if they should be sliding on a wall. So we'll say something like, if I should be wall sliding, then wall slide, or else do the rest of these animations. So we want to grab a new if block, and all of this stuff is going to go inside the else part of this if block. So we'll change this if to an if else. If else. So it's going to check if I'm wall sliding, do wall slide, else do all these other animations. So pop that into there, and then I'll put this down where those blocks were. And if you've got overlapping, you can right click and clean up blocks. Now, how are we going to check if I'm wall sliding? Well, if I'm touching something on the left or touching something on the right. How do we check those? We go to physics, and under collisions we've got touching on any side. Let's check if we're touching on the left side, but we also want to check if we're touching on the right side. So we'll go to operators, grab our AND block, change that to OR. I want to say touching on left side or touching on right side. There we go. Now at the same time that we're checking if we're touching on the left or right side, we also want to make sure that we're actually starting to slide down. We don't want to be gripping onto the wall if we're jumping up. So we're going to check if our Y velocity is greater than, let's say 80. You could do it if it's greater than 0 or 50 or 100, but I found 80 felt about right. So as well as checking for these two conditions, we also want to add an AND. We want to check AND if Y velocity is greater than 80. So we'll go to operators, grab an AND block, put this in the left part of the AND block, and the other thing we want to check is if Y velocity is greater than 80. So greater than, put a number in here, 80, and in the left there we want Y velocity, which is from physics, velocity X, change that to Y. Okay, now if all of this is true, if we're touching on the left or right and we're falling down, we want to do the wall slide animation. That is from animations. Let's go here, play animation name. The name of the animation is wall slide. And when you're sliding on the wall, we want to slow you down. We don't want you plummeting down while you're grabbing the wall. So we will lock your velocity to 85. You can play with that number if you want. We'll set your velocity Y to 85. Now let's test this out to see the player cling to the walls. There we go. That's pretty cool. Now the only downside is you're kind of stuck doing that unless you release. So what we'll do next is add a wall jump ability, so you can jump off of walls.